Hi, I am Ala, the wild woman of the Aquarian age, sensual and not giving a shit. And I and I'm preparing a February 2024 astrological shenanigans for you. Well, what an intro, and that is the same I could say about this year, and February is not any different. The good news is that you will finally see the change happening, and we've been waiting for that since October. It's just been sort of like by the time this and that, but February is going to be like a light bulb, aha, eureka sort of moment, because there'll be planets coming into Aquarius, like Mercury on the 5th, and Mars and Venus. So it's a lot of freshness that is going to be like a crisp apple, finally giving us that satisfying crunch and the taste, new flavors, new beginnings, and the change we were always expecting but never getting, and getting very frustrated about it. Now is actually the time to see it unfold, and here the trap is: do not be rigid in your thinking, and allow innovation, allow the crispiness to take you away on a journey, because it's what, 2024 already. Time to make this happen, and let's dive in and see what February has in store for us. So the first week of February is going to be very eventful. Mercury on the 5th of February will be conjoining Pluto. As it enters Aquarius, it will be that sort of like, oh my God, what did I tell you? Life, you thought you got me by the balls, but here you go. I can do a flip. You're going to have this flip in your mind. Your mind will be doing splits and yoga poses that you thought were never possible. And you're going to be maybe even flipping something over, like something like it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be like an explosion of new ideas. I hope it's not explosion of verbal diarrhea. The dilemma of this month is going to be obvious pretty quickly. On the 8th of February, Venus will be trining Uranus, a planet, because Venus will be in Capricorn, the Earth sign. Uranus has been in Taurus, it's the same Earth sign. So they're in a trine, meaning like that's like silky smooth, and you'll be like, oh my goodness, all these things that I like, that I want. Finally, I get like a new version, like an upgraded version of that. But you probably thought it would look like something a bit different. You probably had this idea, this sort of ego-attached entity inside of you that thought, oh, it's going to be in this package, but it's in a different package. Maybe it's no package, maybe it's a bit delayed. So there is something that is a bit like quirky about it. So this surprise is like cringe. Your ego is saying cringe alert, because you thought it would be different from what it is, and that's where the cognitive dissonance is playing up. Allow the innovation. You obviously hated when Facebook was updated so many times. You thought, oh, I hate this new design. Or when some change happens, you're like, oh, I hate this new micro trend, or I hate this, I hate that. The sun is squaring that same Uranus from Aquarius, so your lofty idea is not really, something has to give. Whether what you got has to be changed to what you thought it should be, or your mind has to be changed in the face of what you get. Something different, like something you wanted, you loved, but it's performing in a way that you didn't expect. So that level of surprise would be that dilemma between what you want and what you actually have to deal with practically. Similar to how I'm recording, and Jay, my husband, is kindly distracting me, so my mind has to change on how I do this. Exactly as I was saying. So be ready for surprises. Someone walking in on you while you're sharing your wisdom with the world. And he says, well, see, I make good content. Well, yeah, I mean, it's all because of you, honey bunny. Where were we? On the 14th of February, 14th of February, Mars is sort of doing the same thing that Mercury did earlier in the month, is banging into Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto has recently entered Aquarius. You probably heard from me about that. Big news in my world. And now here we have Mars, the planet of action, the planet of go-getting, is here. So you had to change the mind. Now, how are you changing your steps? How are you changing your approach to actually doing what you want? How is your goal setting changing? And on the 14th of February, that will be the beginning of that, I would say, adjustment to new status quo, new reality. Finally, we're having, like, visibly, we're feeling new winds in our back, sort of like pushing us forward, and we're like, oh, it's so unusual and uncomfortable, but I am happy to do this weird pose because I know what I kind of sort of taste the benefit from that. So it's like trying different yoga poses you've never tried before. Again, here the key is allow surprises, but also understand how you adjusting, like the practical benefits from all of this. It's going to be a little bit of give and take here, because we're dealing with continuously planets in square to each other from Aquarius, like they're going into Aquarius. They're always squaring planets in Taurus, and there are two planets there, Jupiter and Uranus. So there's constant like this adjustment. The key of this month is adjustment, and I'm wearing my hair wild and free as like this Taurus adjusting to Aquarius. So how do you make it chic, quirky, but also keep it natural, keep it practical? No need for anything extra. You just let it simmer. On the 24th of February at 11:50 p.m. around that time, Sydney time, there will be a full moon in Virgo, which is sort of like that mellow resting space where it's time to look critically at what was happening within this time since the beginning of the year, what has been happening since the end of January, and like sort of looking at it analytically, like the data like in front of your eyes, the infographics, and you're like, okay, I see. And this is where maybe those surprises are not getting to you anymore, because you now are having like a bigger picture of things. You're not like deep in the shit. You're more like looking at it and understanding what would be the next strategy I'm gonna apply. And now you are not rushing it anymore, and that feels good, but also anticipation might make you feel a little bit like, oh, I wonder if A, B, or C. Contemplation and analysis is the keys of this full moon. Enjoy that. At the time of this full moon in Virgo, Venus will be squaring Jupiter. So the bigger, better, more is the desire. Yet, what is the data saying? Is this making sense? Questions, pondering, slowing down, but calculating. And here, because you now have new avenues, new ideas, innovation, and unexpected surprises, you are prepared to apply all of this new information to work, to make it work for you. Wishful thinking could be the downturn, so I would suggest you take a measured approach to your conclusions. And last but not least, on the 28th of February into the 29th, there will be like this trio in Pisces. So Mercury will be getting over the Sun, over Saturn. So Sun is going over Saturn, and Mercury is going over these two, which will be like, oh wow, I now know my discipline. I now know my spiritual standing. I now know the whispers of the universe. I now know what's the bigger picture. I now know what's the plan. Even though it's confusing as hell, I think I get it. I think I get it. So you will be like listening to this melody and really understanding which notes it's hitting and what would be the progression, so to say, the chord progression, which is empowering. The downside could be like, oh, overwhelmed by things, like everything is going to take forever. Let's say you have a project and you'll be thinking, Jesus, it's going to take ages, or it's just so big. So just take it easy, inch by inch, mindfulness, grounded, and slow and steady wins the race here, at least for the month of February. That's what's gonna get you back into your confidence, because there will be like unexpected turns, but once you know what value you put out there and what value you want to get, this will be like your sort of like gravitation pull in this really eerie month that is trying to find its place in this earthy, practical, even dogmatic energies. So I hope your February goes well, and I'm wishing you the best of luck and lots of love. Bye.